So yeah, when you get molested, that is something that rides with you for the rest of your life. And it have you blaming yourself. It have you feeling like you're not good enough. It feel you having like you use goods, like you dirty, like God don't love you, all that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna tell y'all one of my stories, and then I'll further tell y'all stories as we get to know each other. So, and every time I talk about this, it's like I start getting anxiety, like I can't breathe. But I feel like the more I talk about it, the better I get, and I have to push through. So, for my first memory, and it's not in sequential order because my first memory is when I was like almost 3, but then I remember it happening the very, I don't know, it's just been since I was like a little kid, before I was 3 years old. My first memory is laying on the floor. We lived in an upstairs downstairs apartment, and I was downstairs. I fell asleep on the floor, and my mom was upstairs in the bed with my baby brother. He was like, I don't know if he was a few months old, a few weeks old. I just remember he was a newborn baby in Pampers. And I remember laying on the floor, and his dad, big ass, grown ass man, laying me on my back, or like rolling me over on my back. And I guess pulling off my underwear. I don't remember that part. I think I was probably still asleep, but I remember him spitting on his penis to try to insert it in me at not even 3 years old. And I've always wanted to write a book about this, but just trying to write that on paper, then I gotta read it over and over again to edit it and all that kind of stuff. I think will just drive me crazy. Um, I remember that, right? Then I remember the same man before that, before this happened, this incident. I remember my mom going into labor. We were at the movie theater. Back then it was a drive-in. Okay, my brother is like 41. I think he just turned 42. Or 43, because I'll be 46. Anyway, I remember my mom was sitting on the hood of the car at the drive-thru. And mind you, I'm a kid. I'm not even 3 years old, so I don't know nothing about sex or molestation or none of that. But I remember her going into labor on the hood of the car and needing to go to the hospital. And it was my brother's dad, his brother, my mom, and I. I remember us going home first because my mom wanted to take a bath and get her stuff. And I remember her letting me, or whatever, get in the bathtub with him to take a bath before she dropped me off to my grandma's. Something I never understood, because me as an adult with girls, I would never even let my kids get in the bathtub with their own daddy, let alone their stepdaddy. But I know things was different, and I'm not mad. My mom is dead and gone, rest her soul, but we made amends before she passed and became very close. And a lot of the stuff that I'm telling y'all, I never even got to tell her because I was afraid. And I didn't want to hurt her. And I knew that deep down in her heart that she was apologetic for the things that happened to me. And I don't blame her. I forgave her a long time ago. Anyway, so I remember that incident. Well, then, years down the line, it kept happening, And I remember when I was about 4, I think I was 4, I'm not sure. We were living in the country in Palestine, Texas, which is where my brother's father is from, in this house by the railroad tracks. And he would beat up on my mom. He was on drugs. He was just a sorry man all the way around. And I remember she had met a new man. So she would leave and go be with the new man and leave us with the neighbor. Well, leave me with the neighbor and leave my brother with his daddy. But he would I remember this one incident, he told the neighbor to tell me to come to the house, which, I mean, we were right next door. So when I get in the house, I walk up the stairs, I go in the house, steps or whatever, and he said, go in the room. So I didn't know what to do. I go in the room, I hid behind the door, and then I went out the back door, went back to the neighbor's house. But I never told her what was going on. So I don't know what happened. The next thing I do remember is my mama coming home, him and her getting into it. He trying to beat her up. He hit her. Mind you, we don't have no family there. And so I remember her saying something to the fact that, I forgave you even what you did to my daughter. Whatever. So then when the police got there, my mom was going off. She had poured gasoline around the house. She was going to burn it down. This and that. And they were threatening to take her to jail. I don't know why my eye look like that, but I guess it's the ankle. But anyway, they wanted to take her to jail for threatening to burn down the house, for pouring the gasoline around the house. So they made her leave. So we ended up going to her friend's house and staying over there for a little while. But I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. Everything is not in sequential order in my mind. Because then I remember when I was like 6. I think I was 6. Yeah, because I was in elementary already. So I don't even remember how this go. But I was in elementary school. And I used to spend the night with my cousins and stuff like that. And I don't know how me and my cousin started talking. And she was older than me. I was like 6. She was like 13 or something. And I ended up telling her what he was doing to me. And that I wanted her to tell my mom because I was afraid. And we used to live right next door to this club. I remember we were sitting on the porch of the club. And I told her. So we walked next door to our house. And my cousin told her. So I remember my mom talking to me, kinda. I don't remember the exact conversation. So I went, she told me to go take a bath, get in the bathtub. And that she'd be right back. Well, back then, it was back in the day. The windows was up. We didn't have no air conditioning. And I was in the bathtub. And I remember I hear all this cussing. This ruckus. She done called my uncle. She done called her youngest baby sister to go. I guess they was going to go lynch his ass. So next thing I know, they get into it. They jump on and beat him up. And she stabbed him 16 times. 16 times. I thought he would have been dead with a butcher's knife. So I do remember feeling relief because I'm like, yeah, like she's not going to be with him no more. And then I'll be okay. He don't have to hurt me no more. Because I guess by then I was starting to realize that it wasn't right what he was doing to me. So then I go to school the next day. I'm sitting outside by the crossing guard, waiting forever. Like, I was the last person seemed like to get picked up. I was just sitting there on the curb waiting. And they pull up. My mom, my brother, I think, his uncle, and his dad. Bandaged up from his head, his arms, wherever, but in the car with my mom to pick me up from school after he done already molested me a million times. And that was just crazy. And Eventually, we end up moving, I think, to the country after that. My grandma did not want to let me go. I think the only reason why I ended up going is I was just supposed to go for a little while during the summer just to be with my mom because I wanted to be with my mama so bad. With the last incident, like I said, my mom had threatened to burn down the house and to kill him and this, and that. And she had met another man. Well, we ended up leaving from there and going to go stay with the man that my mom had started dating. And he ended up driving my mom to bring me back to Corpus to my granny. My granny was like, bring me my granddaughter. Like, she's not staying with you no more. Like, no, like, whatever. I know I ended up having to come back here to our hometown and stay with my granny because, I guess she felt like she could protect me better. And she did. But thank God after that, my mom never went back to that man. She ended up being with the new man, which took good care of us, never hurt us, never molested us, never abused us, always took good care of us as far as, things and us being able to go to school and live somewhere decent or nice. And, him and my mom both were able to work. Um, Even though he did abuse my mom too, he used to whoop her ass. I remember one time I walked in on him beating her with a belt, like she was a kid, like laying on her back, like whooping her ass. And his mom and sisters were just sitting around watching him. And I jumped up and grabbed a butter knife. I was little, I was like 8 at that time, and tried to cut him. And of course, that didn't do nothing. But all that stuff is like traumatizing. It is part of the reason why I think, as growing up, I would just let boys and men do stuff to me because I felt like, well, I couldn't give my virginity away because somebody had already took it. I didn't feel like I was good enough for a man to love me or want to marry me or want to be in a relationship with me. So when I did finally find a man that loved me and wanted to be with me, I was so mean and ugly and violent towards him at times. And I was young. We was in junior high all the way up into high school. And he's dead, and I hate it because I loved him so much. And he used to always say that I damaged him because I was damaged. So I would do stuff to him, and then it made him be damaged and treat other women bad. That's what I'm saying. Like, when you don't deal with what you're going through, you can't heal from it. So I tell parents, if you got a child that's been molested or abused in any kind of way, get them some kind of help. Send them to talk to somebody. Don't make them feel like that they have to keep this buried inside of them, because it really ruins your life. And that's just how I feel. I have wonderful, beautiful daughters, but I could never fully let them grow up. And it caused issues, not big ones, because we had a good, close relationship. But sometimes I would be angry with them, even with my son, talk crazy to them. Didn't want to let them do stuff too, because I was always scared that somebody was going to hurt them, you know? And when somebody has violated you like that, it messes with your self-esteem. And then on top of that, I was a plus size little girl. So, when I would try to tell certain friends about the things that had happened to me as far as being molested, I've had people tell me I was lying because who would want to fuck my fat ass? Stuff like that. And that's horrible. horrible, 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 And I would believe it though. So then when a guy did want to sleep with me or goose me or hump on me or play with my titties or all that kind of stuff, I would let them because I would feel like, well, at least they want me. But then I started realizing, okay, they didn't really want me because they're not taking me nowhere in public. Not all of them. Um, thank God I wasn't just no ho ho. But I have done some whole things that it's not embarrassing because now I've grown and I know that there was a reason why that I did the things that I did do. But I just want to speak my truth because I'm tired of walking around with this heaviness and this horrible feeling inside of my heart, inside of my soul that was not my fault, all because another motherfucker was sick or probably had been hurt by his people, and he hurt us, he hurt me. And not only did he hurt me, his sister hurt me. I remember she was 18 years old when we lived in the country. And I remember her making me do things to her and her do things to me and her do things to my brother, and he was a baby. And I'm sure he don't remember at all. Because, like, when I say baby, like, I mean in Pampers. And my mom never knew because I never told her. I felt like she had enough to deal with already. So I never told her. And, but I did tell my mom how proud of her I was before she left this earth because my mom has been through drug addiction. She smoked cigarettes. She's been through, you know, just abusive relationships and just a lot of stuff that she didn't deal with. So she didn't know how to deal with it with us. But she overcame every single obstacle that was ever thrown at her. She overcame it from quitting smoking cigarettes to quit smoking drugs without having to go to rehab to being able to work and own her own home, stuff like that. Like she was still healing from things when she left here, and I wish that she was still here because I feel like I could help her to deal with some of the things that went on in the past that she never had nobody to talk to about. And that's why I felt so bad for my mom because back in their day, when they was young, everything was swept up under the rug. You wasn't allowed to talk about certain stuff. Or they'll just tell you, oh, get over it. Because I remember when I first started having anxiety and I called my mom, she told me I need to get over that shit. And I told her, I stood up to her and I told her, I said, if it was that easy, don't you think I would do it? I said, do you think people like feeling like this? And it took for one of their friends that also suffers from anxiety to explain to her the feeling and that it's a real thing in order for her to kind of believe what I was saying. So that's what I'm saying. Even if you're an adult now and you went through some past traumatic stress, anything traumatic, sorry, any horrible things, and I have so many stories to tell y'all, get some help. If you don't get help, because like me, I haven't been to counseling since I was in, I want to say junior high school, but I get on this platform or my Facebook and I talk about it because the more I talk about it, the easier it is for me to heal. I have friends that I talk to about it, but you can't talk to every friend about your stuff because later on, and it's happened to me, they'll throw that shit in your face. Um, but you have to deal with those past traumas in order to heal from them. You can't just hold it in. You can't just sweep it up under the rug. You have to, however you feel, if you hanging around people and you dealing with people that you can't talk about what you going through or what you've been through, then those people don't care about you. Because holding this stuff in hurt. And it's unhealthy. It's ugly. And I'm trying to deal every day. I fight battles in my mind because now that I'm going through battling cancer, and I just had a hip replacement surgery and all that kind of stuff, I'm sitting still for a long time. And all I do is think about these things that I've been through. And sometimes I'll be like, wow, I've been through so much. I'm waiting for my breakthrough to live a better life and not a partying life, not vacation, which I love vacations, but I'm just saying, like, I just want to feel free. I want to feel at peace. And all that stuff that I've been through be in the past, but still living, not when I'm dead, still living. So that's my prayer to God, that I can just live a peaceful life, share my life with somebody. I do want to have a good husband, not just no any kind of. I don't want my kids to have to suffer from the things that I've been through. My grandkids, I don't want this to trickle down. I don't want those generational curses, and I pray against that every day. That the spirit of PTSD, the spirit of generational curses, is gone from this family. We will not accept it. We will not tolerate it. We will not deal with it. Um, the devil is not welcome here. So I pray every single day. I want to be healthy, well, productive, and not be suffering from past traumas. I want to smile, and that smile to be real. I want joy for me and my kids, and I'm claiming that it will come to pass. So, like I said, yeah, if you ever been molested, abused in any kind of way, get help, talk to somebody, deal with it. Don't try to hold it in. Don't try to sweep it up under the rug. Sometimes people kind of not delete it out of their brain, and then they're not understanding why they're so angry, or not realizing that they are so angry, or so angry and they just don't know why. That's that could be part of your problem. And I had a lady tell me that the other day, that she had blocked it out for so many years, but she was always fighting and got on drugs and arguing and being mean to her husband, and then somehow it came up in her mind. She remembered what happened, so now she's able to deal with it, and things are getting better for her. So yeah, if you ever have been molested, child, fuck these punk ass motherfuckers that hurt you. God forgive me, y'all, because I really do have a strong relationship with God, but I just feel like that had to be said. Fuck them. Take care of you. Fuck how they gonna be embarrassing. Fuck how it make them feel. It's important how you feel, because if you don't feel, if you're not good for you, you can't be good for nobody else. And this is your girl Cake Mix. I'm out, and I will holler at y'all in my next video.